I hate that this gets to be so high up the list. Not only should you not do it, but you are actually scum. You should just max out constantly. Do crazy things, end up in the newspaper for crazy things, and then nothing will happen off the back of it. Right, welcome back. You guys are loving the tier rating system, so we're gonna do it again. Again, before we get into this, the aim is 10,000 subscribers. We've already hit beep.
So there's already 1,000 and nearly 600 of you that are already subscribed, but only like 50% of the people that watch this video are actually subscribed. So I'm talking to you, all the other 50% or however many more it is, subscribe. I need a job. I've just come out from under my desk to film this. So Callum, back to the video.
This week, we're gonna be rating things that powerlifters do.
Things that powerlifters do. Now, I have read through a few of these and they're a little bit nuanced. Some of them are like characteristics and some of them are like behaviors. So we're gonna have to like make what we can of it.
Okay, so we have, just to clarify the tier system, S tier is best practices, A, useful, B, potentially useful, C, meh, F, don't do it. I'm in, let's go.
First one, following the program.
I hate that this gets to be so high up the list. Like, just do it. Like, it's bare minimum, but we're gonna say it's best practices because kind of obvious.
Okay, so again, like there are practices and then there are like things people do.
Yeah, all good.
So the next one, commenting 0 reps on someone's bench. I think this relates to when someone's not locking out, not pausing. So you're saying like, oh, you didn't do any reps.
You know, I've never had a comment like this from someone who's any good at it. So I'm like, not only should you not do it, but you are actually scum.
Yeah.
And you suck at powerlifting.
Okay, I'm gonna struggle to say a few of these words.
Passive recovery modalities. So
passive recovery, basically. So
isn't the phrase active recovery most of the time? Passive recovery doing nothing about it.
So does passive recovery just mean like sitting on the sofa, not walking all day?
You know what? So just so everyone knows, if you are in the world of rehab, the most productive way of recovering is doing things that you don't think are stressful. So if you play games, that actually works. So if you sit on Call of Duty and that calms you down, that's actually better for recovery than most rehab work. So I'm actually going to say it's actually A tier.
So if we define that as just doing things you find stress-free?
Yeah, then it's A tier.
Okay, big one next, sleep and nutrition. Should you sleep and should you nutrition?
I will clarify that I don't do either of these things very well. I don't nutrition. I don't sleep. I would put this as like S tier. If you're going to do anything for your powerlifting journey, sleep more, eat better, and do your program.
Okay, pretty simple on that. Reducing unnecessary stress.
I'm going to say a few too many people are a bit too soft about having stress and being like, I had a long day, therefore my training sucks. And be like, bro, you're fine. So I'm actually going to say meh.
If you can do it, do it.
Do it, but it's not a big deal.
But I think people make stress.
Yeah, because it's called unnecessary stress. So I'm like, well, it's things that are minor. I'm like, if you can do something about it, like fine. But if you can't, you're fine. Like you can still squat just because mum was mean to you today.
Yeah, I think people stress themselves out on thinking they're stressed.
Yeah.
And then actually stress themselves out.
They're like, oh, all these externals are so awful, so I'll have a terrible session. Like, if you just shut up and train,
that word should get banned, by the way. I hate the word externals. I know it's a definition, but stop using it.
Almost everything is on that list.
Comparing numbers on open powerlifting.
To other people?
Well, yeah, not compared to yourself.
Well, why would you try to beat yourself? I mean, it's not particularly helpful. But if you're being a competitive powerlifter, you should kind of know where you're at. Like, if you've got big competition coming up and seeing people's history, I'm going to say potentially useful. I'm not going to say you shouldn't do it. Most of you don't need to.
Use it within reason.
Yeah.
One of those. Specific reps and set schemes. So by this, I'm going to define this as running a block, running a cycle as block of 6s, block of 4s, block of 2s, block of 1s. Not because your program is very specific to the person. They might be doing triples.
So are we talking about the old school, like 3s, then 2s, then 1s?
I'm going to take that as what that means.
Okay. I think it's a bit old school because people talk about like powerlifting, you have to be doing X or you have to be doing Y. And like, no, these are hypertrophy reps or this is volume. It's like when people say they're on a volume block, I'm like, that just might be your best response. That will be your strength block. Like those terms are old school. I'm actually going to say, this sounds so stupid saying reps and sets are meh.
But in that context.
In that context, it's meh.
Yeah. Okay, so quite broad one, progressive overload.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to improve. In print, it just depends on the scale. Like if you go week to week, probably not. Like you could do the exact same load numerous weeks and just move better and that still be progress. I'm going to say useful.
So the next one I'm going to caveat.
Yeah, go on.
Undershooting top sets opposed to hitting the target. Not opposed to overshooting.
Well, I will caveat back your caveat.
Okay.
Is I program knowing some people will do that. So some people who undershoot, I'll program like a 7, knowing I'll get a 6. I'll program an 8, knowing I'll get a 7. So like if you're a good coach, people who undershoot or overshoot are easier to program because they're predictable. People who really try to be accurate can actually be tougher. So I'm going to say that undershooting top sets can be useful if you have a coach, because then they can really control the outcomes. If you overshoot, you're actually a nightmare. Simple.
Simple. So where's it going?
A tier.
A tier. Nice. Testing 1RM every session.
You should do it. You should always do it. You should just max out constantly. I'm surprised if you're watching this YouTube video, you don't have like a bicep curl going on to absolute RP10 right now. F tier.
Simples.
Idiots.
Analysing your lifting technique.
Okay. If you're any good at it, most of you suck. Like most of you being like, oh, this is the problem. You have no idea, and so you're a problem.
When you say if you're any good at analysing, not any good at the technique.
Oh yeah, your lifting all sucks. If you're any good at understanding the core problem, so I use a phrase like symptomatic thinkers. Like you'll see a problem and be like, that's the issue. I'm like, no, it's not. It comes from somewhere else. So I'm actually going to say meh, because I think like C tier, because you don't get it.
And the likelihood is you're always going to overanalyze, and very rarely will someone find the
Watch it
problem
once.
themselves.
That's a rule. If you're like intermediate or below, you should watch your video once. If you cannot tell me the primary issue, don't evaluate it.
Lovely.
Golden.
Watching powerlifting meets / live streams.
S tier. A, to be involved in the sport, to understand what's going on, to actually add to the medium, show there's people watching this stuff. I think it's a good thing to do all the time.
B, you want people at your meet. Don't be the guy that never
I
shows up
hate
to
those
anyone else.
people being like, no one came to support me. Name one meet you've been to.
Exactly.
Like, you're the worst.
Okay, so we're going into a different kind of topic now. Stretching.
Grossly overrated. Movement is way more important. So like when people talk about mobility, stretching before you train sucks. Stretching as a whole, short-term relief. It's like stretching plus movement is beneficial. So I'm just going to say potentially. I'll put it B tier.
Okay. The next two are probably going to go hand in hand, so you might be able to rank them together as like vice versa. Patience and urgency.
I'm actually going to say these are perfect together, which is like the patience of knowing there's a long game, the urgency of wanting to work as hard as you can every session, of being like, this could be the best one. Like, it could be, and the ability to do both of these things. It's, like you said, they seem like they're opposites, but I think they're a relationship of urgent per session, of bringing your best intent, patient for the long game of going, well, if it's not there today, I will wait, but I will try to bring that. I'm going to put them both as S tier.
So patient urgency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you call the AA and they don't turn up, being like, I'll wait, but could you be here right now?
Okay, active recovery. We've been over passive recovery.
I'm going to put it the same sort of category. I'm going to put it A tier as well. Same sort of principle.
Providing they understand what active recovery is.
I just read the next one.
Emotionally investing into sport politics.
So we're talking politics, like the stuff that goes in the federation and...
I think, yeah, how the federations run and the politics surrounding that.
I'd have said a while back, you should all do it because you should care about how your sport's run. Because no one cares what you think and your federation will ignore you, do crazy things, end up in the newspaper for crazy things, and then nothing will happen off the back of it. Don't do it. Don't even, just move on. Like, it's just not worth it.
Okay, goal setting.
S tier. If you don't know where you're going, you can't figure out the journey in front of you. Ridiculous.
What type of goals should everyone be aiming for?
You should do short-term goals, you should do long-term goals, outcome goals, process goals, personal goals. So if it's like what I want to do week to week, what I want to do in every session, what I want to achieve by the end of the block, what I want to achieve over the cycle. You should do all of them.
And what acronym can people use to set up a proper goal?
What's the...
You're not dumb, you're smart.
Oh, SMART goals, yeah. Specific, measurable, achievable, are...
Realistic?
Realistic, time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd explain that to you, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't care. Cardio.
I actually think loads of you can't walk upstairs without dying. So I'm going to put that as like useful. It's not necessary, but it definitely has an impact. And like, oh, I did set a 7, I'm going to die. What?
Rach does spin 15 times a day.
Yeah, she's not on camera right now, but Rach does spin. And so she is, I've never known her to complain about volume. Like, she's actually healthy. That's what that's like.
Can't relate. Okay, so speaking of things.
Speaking of Rachel, managing arousal.
Rach, how do you manage your arousal?
Okay, so managing arousal just means like managing your mental state. So excessive amounts of hype where you can't focus. As a newbie, like you should not be getting overly hyped because you suck at lifting and it stops you being able to focus on what you're doing. Just as managing it as a whole, I'm going to say is S tier. There's some good S tier ones.
If you can manage it and then harness it when necessary.
Yeah.
It's good. Sorry, I can see you're already getting deviated.
Yeah, what's audacity?
Okay, I'll put it into the context of what I think it is for
Yeah.
you. The audacity to go for things when you think they're there. Basically having a bit of a pair of gonads, having the bollocks to do things when you think they're on.
Especially like, because this happened with like Amelia and her bench the other day where I was like, it's a good day, push. And she was like, we overshoot. I'm like, yeah, push. There are times for it. Audacity with patience, like to know the opportunities, because an average person thinks everything's an opportunity. They're wrong. I'm actually going to say useful.
A bit like loading 310 on your last week and 290 on the week
not on your
before.
second week, for instance, of being like, okay, I'll wait. Okay, I could push this. I can get something worthwhile out, as opposed to being like, I've just wrecked the block because I thought week 2 was great.
I've done that a few too many times.
No, you have done that.
Yeah, I actually did that last week. Humility.
And, as in just being humble.
Yeah.
I actually think that's relatively low for a powerlifter.
Be arrogant, everyone.
I think like because self-belief is such a big part of the sport. I think you have to believe, like the 3 tiers of highly successful people, one of the things is like believing you're better than everyone else. It's one of the traits of, so I don't actually think that it's F tier, but I'm going to put it in F tier because I do think people need to have more of an oomph about them of being like, no, it could be me.
Yeah, okay, fair. Then the next two kind of go hand in hand, but are very separate.
Very, yeah.
Knowledge.
So knowledge I'm actually going to put lower because you need to just be taught. You don't actually have to understand everything. You know when people say about like ask your coach, if you have an explanation, sometimes I think it helps intent, but your level of understanding doesn't have to be that high. I'm going to put it as potentially useful because you don't need to know. You need a great coach and understand what they're trying to achieve. That's about it. Don't think you need much more than that. If you don't have a coach, your knowledge needs to be way higher.
And the last one, experience.
S. Long game. Play the long game. Be in the long game.
Experience trumps everything.
Always.
Comp day, training.
Yeah, literally. Go do a competition, just get experience. Train for like 2 years before you tell me that you're plateauing. Like real time in everything. There you go.
Amazing.
If you disagree, I'd like you to message Spencer directly. It's Spencer Linham on Instagram and let him know he's wrong because this was all his fault. He planned it all ahead of time and he made me look bad. So let him know your queries and qualms and then subscribe so you can support me to get rid of Spencer.
No, they're supporting you to keep me.
Oh, whatever. Same thing.
Peace out.